We will call to order the October 22nd, 2024 Blue Earth County Commissioner meeting. First item on the agenda, those that are able, please stand and join us with the pledge to our flag. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 2 is the agenda review. Mr. Meyer, please.
Mr. Chair, there are no changes to the agenda today.
I'll move approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Discussion? Are we ready to vote? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carried. The agenda is approved as printed. Item number 3, tab number 1, is the County Ditch 78 continuation final hearing for the petition to add additional acres. First on that agenda is to review the agenda. Mr. Meyer, please.
Mr. Chair, there are no changes to the agenda.
I'll move the agenda.
Second.
Okay, I've got a motion and a second. Discussion? Are we ready to vote? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carried. The agenda for the petition outlet additional lands in the County Ditch 78 is approved as printed. The next item is to present the engineer's report, draft reviewers report for the petition to outlet additional acres, and for public comments. The order of business for this hearing is as follows. Staff will review the jurisdictional documents, hear from the engineer and viewing staff, and then the hearing for public comments. So we'll start. I'll ask Mr. Ryan Hinniger, Blue Earth County Drainage staff, to review the jurisdictional documents. Ryan, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Notices were mailed out for this hearing on October 1st, 2024. Notice was also posted outside of this public building at 204 South 5th Street. Public affidavit was run in the Mankato Free Press on October 1st, 8th, and 15th of 2024. I also have a quick memo. Blue Earth County Ditch 78 watershed is approximately 9,200 acres in size and is located primarily in Garden City and Vernon Center townships. A petition to outlet additional acres in the CD 78 was received on February 27th, 2024. On April 23rd, 2024, the Drainage Authority appointed engineer Charles J. Brando of ISG to review the petition. The Drainage Authority also appointed viewer Mark Behrens to make a report with recommendations for an outlet fee and benefits for the property. The reports have been received and we are now ready to hold a hearing on the petition. A public hearing for the proposed petition, including a review of the viewers and engineers' reports, is required. On August 13th, 2024, by assigned findings in order, the Drainage Authority set a final hearing date of September 10th, 2024. Due to an error identified in the original petition on September 10th of 2024, the County Ditch 78 Drainage Authority made a motion and adopted an order to continue the final hearing to a time and date certain, being October 22nd, 2024. Revised corrected petition was received by County Drainage Management staff on September 19th of 2024. Today's action requested at today's final hearing for the proposed petition to outlet additional lands in the County Ditch 78. We ask the Drainage Authority to approve of the drafted or subsequently amended findings in order the approval granting the petition for additional acres to outlet into County Ditch 78. This is all I have, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you. Any clarifying questions on the memo?
No, sir.
At this time, it'd be appropriate to have a motion and a second to accept the jurisdictional documents into the legal record.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Discussion? Are we ready to vote? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carried. The jurisdictional documents are accepted into the legal record. I'll now ask the appointed engineering staff to come forward, identify themselves, and review the engineer's report. Good morning.
Thank you. Hello everyone, my name is Jacob Mueller, graduate engineer with ISG.
I'll be representing Chuck Randall of ISG, who couldn't be here today, who is tasked with performing a hydraulic analysis related to a petition for land incorporation into the Blue Earth County Ditch Number 78 system. The present petition would involve areas from 4 separate properties located in sections 2 and 1 of Vernon Center Township. The described property's area is 320 acres in total. Presently, 136 acres are draining into the CD78 system. The petition would incorporate an additional 183.4 acres into the CD78 system. The Drainage Authority requested that ISG complete a report and hydraulic analysis of the potential impacts of this addition to the drainage system's hydraulic capacity and subsequently any potential negative impacts to the drainage system. Presently, the CD78 system drains a total of 9,400 acres, and the system is comprised mostly of open ditch and subsurface tile. To calculate the impacts of this addition, we have evaluated the system's outlet capacity both pre and post addition related to the petition. Drainage capacity here is defined by drainage coefficient. This unit describes the depth of water that can be removed by a subsurface tile over the full upstream area in a unit time, this case being inches per day. For current farming practices in this portion of the state, a drainage coefficient of 1 inch per day is recommended for field crossings within open ditches. There's no standard for road crossings, as design is influenced by peak flow rates and acceptable overtopping frequencies. The location chosen for this capacity analysis is a box culvert under CSA 13, or County State 8 Highway 13, which has recently been replaced, where the immediate outlet for the area in question would be. This present culvert is a 9 by 12 reinforced concrete box culvert. This incorporation reduces the drainage coefficient presently from a 1.98 inch per day drainage coefficient to a 1.94 inch per day drainage coefficient, or about a 2.1% reduction. The increased area would have negligible impacts upon drainage capacity due to the system at this location having more than recommended capacity, which again was that 1 inch per day drainage coefficient. The engineer does not believe that this addition would result in a change in the designed overtopping frequency of the County State 8 Highway 13 crossing or any additional flooding in the CD78 system. In summary, from the findings of this analysis, it is the opinion of the engineer that this incorporation of additional properties will have negligible impacts to the Blue Earth County Ditch 78 public drainage system, as well as its users. Thank you for your time, and please let me know if you have any questions.
Any clarifying questions for the engineer's report? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Jacob? At this point, we'll ask Mr. Mark Behrens, the appointed viewer, for the viewer's report.
All right, thank you. I'm going to turn this way a little so I don't have my back to the audience. I'm Mark Behrens, the viewer that was appointed to this petition. I'm a member of the Minnesota Viewers Association. There's 4 or 5 trainings a year you can go to become accredited. There's 3 or 4 different groups throughout the state that do this viewing. So whether it's myself or a person from the other group, the process would be similar on how they determine benefits. There's 5 items that are used to determine benefits on parcels. It's obviously how many acres you've got within the watershed, your soil type, your location rate, where your property is physically away from the county open ditch or county tile, whether or not you've got county tile on your property, and the efficiency of the system. Those 5 items come together to determine a benefit value. Every parcel within the system gets a benefit value. We divide your benefits by the total benefits in the system to get your percent of total benefits. So when there's repair or maintenance on the system, obviously the whole bill has to be paid. Each parcel pays their percent of total benefits. Little history on this County Ditch 78. You've heard some of it already. It was established in 1944. It's in Vernon Center and Garden City Townships. It was redetermined in 2015, not by our group, but by a different group. There's 9,420 acres within the watershed of County Ditch 78. The 2015 redetermination of benefits
determined there was 14,043,000 worth of benefits on that system. The Eberhart property that is petitioning into County Ditch 78 currently has 136 acres within the watershed of County Ditch 78, and they're petitioning another 183.4 acres from outside the watershed into this system. On a petition like this, there's two things that come into play. There's what's called an outlet fee. That's a one-time payment to basically buy into that system, and there's benefits to the property. And I'll talk about both of these here now. The outlet fee is a one-time fee, like I said, basically buying into the system. The landowners within that system have paid for and maintained that system since 1944. So I talked to drainage staff. They said since 2002, there's been about $1.3 million spent on that system for maintenance. Part of that was repairs, 240,000 of repairs in 2014. On the redetermination of benefits that was done in 2015, the one rod grass strip had to be acquired. There was 131,000 of grass strip payments that went out at that time. In 2016, there was an improvement on that system for 808,000. There was a big improvement done in 2016. So we've got all those costs, plus the cost of building it and maintaining it from 1944 to 2002. So I've worked on a lot of petitions where people are petitioning into a system, and the outlet fee, we've had anything from $25 an acre outlet fee up to $250 an acre for an outlet fee. What I determined on these acres that are petitioning into County Ditch 78, there should be a one-time $175 an acre buy-in into that system, because it's a well-maintained system and there's been a lot of money spent on that system. So these acres buying in would have a one-time fee of $175 an acre. The second piece of this is the benefits to the parcels, so that going forward, these 183 acres pay their portion of any repair and maintenance going forward on these systems. On the redetermination that was done in 2015, they have benefit values for what's called A, B, C, D soil. The average benefit value at that time was $2,725 per acre benefit. I worked off from that benefit value per acre and then reduced it down from there, because these acres that are petitioning in are way to the north end of this system. They're outside the watershed. The surface water from these acres go to the east and to the north. They don't go right to the system. So that benefit value is reduced because of this, and it's close to the outlet of the system. That's standard viewing practice. You reduce benefits depending on where the parcels are in the system. I handed out all this information also to everyone. You've got it in front of you. There's a spreadsheet that's within that handout that was given out, but there's 136 acres currently in the system. They have 142,000 worth of benefits in the system now, have paid for it since it was established, and are currently paying for repair and maintenance. The 183 acres that are petitioning in, they would have $135,000 worth of benefits added to the benefit roll on County Ditch 78, so they pay their share of repair and maintenance going forward. And then the far right-hand column you see there, the 183 acres, times that $175 an acre, they would have a $32,095 buy-in fee into that system, one-time buy-in, and then they pay their share going forward. A lot of information, a lot of numbers. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any clarifying questions for the viewers?
No, sir.
Appreciate that,
Thank you.
that history.
Cale Van Buren of At today's meeting, we are requesting the approval of an order to appoint engineer Charles J. Brownell of ISG to review the documents provided in the petition and prepare a 103E order to include to make a recommendation for the outlet fee and benefits for additional acres petition for County Ditch 16 in accordance with 103E.401.
Rule.
Are we ready to vote? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carried. The engineer and viewers are appointed. Next is County Ditch 35, tab 4.
This next one is the appointment of a viewer for County Ditch 35 petition for removal of property. County Ditch 35 watershed is approximately 3,025 benefited acres and is located in Mapleton Township. A petition to remove acres from County Ditch 35 was received on September 20th, 2024. The Drainage Authority Attorney Cale Van Buren of Rinky Noonan reviewed the petition and found it to be adequate for these proceedings. At today's meeting, we are requesting the approval of an order to appoint engineer Charles J. Brownell of ISG to review the documents provided in the petition and prepare an opinion letter in accordance with Minnesota Statute 103E. We are also requesting the order include the appointment of viewer Mark Behrens to make recommendations for the removal of the benefits for County Ditch 35 in accordance of 103E.
I'll move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion. Are we ready to vote? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carried. It is approved. Next is 35, tab 5, as it deals with the outlet. please.
Okay. This is a petition to outlet into County Ditch 35. The Blue Earth County Ditch 35 watershed is approximately 3,025 acres in size and is located in Mapleton Township. A petition to outlet additional lands in the County Ditch 35 was received on September 20th, 2024. The Drainage Authority Attorney Cale Van Buren of Rinky Noonan reviewed the petition and found it to be adequate for these proceedings. At today's meeting, we are requesting the approval of an order to appoint engineer Charles J. Brownell of ISG to review the documents provided in the petition and prepare an opinion letter in accordance with Minnesota Statute 103E. We are also requesting an order to include the appointment of viewer Mark Behrens to make a recommendation for outlet fee and benefits for additional acres petitioned into County Ditch 5 in accordance with 103E.401.
Okay,
Approval.
recommendation, we've got a motion and a second. Discussion. Are we ready to vote? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carried, it is passed.
Okay. And the next one here is for County Ditch 57 petition for removal of property. The County Ditch 57 watershed is approximately 6,000 benefited acres located in Beaufort and Mapleton Township. A petition to remove acres from County Ditch 57 was received in September 20th, 2024. The Drainage Authority Attorney Cale Van Buren of Rinky Noonan reviewed the petition and found it to be adequate for these proceedings. At today's meeting, we are requesting the approval of an order to appoint engineer Charles J. Brownell of ISG to review the documents provided in the petition and prepare an opinion letter in accordance with Minnesota Statute 103E. We are requesting the order include the appointment of viewers Mark Barons to make recommendations for the removal of benefits for County Ditch 57 in accordance with 103E.
Okay, for the request, recommendation,
Move approval.
Second.
we have a motion and a second. Discussion. Are we ready to vote? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carried, they are appointed. Our last agenda item is on tab 7, County Ditch 89.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We will be setting the hearing date for County Ditch 89. Blue Earth County Ditch 89 watershed is approximately 4,800 acres in size and is located in Pleasant Mountain Township. Based off of field inspections and statutory requirements of the recent redetermination of benefits for this drainage system, a repair report was needed. Blue Earth County drainage staff consulted with the engineer, Mr. Charles J. Brandel from ISG, to develop a repair report. The repair report was developed using drainage staff input and engineering survey recommendations. An informational landowner meeting was held on September 24th, 2024, to discuss the proposed repair report and what it entails, including costs and plans. Action requested for today, we are requesting the Drainage Authority approve the draft findings in order setting a repair hearing for November 19th, 2024. That's all I have.
And I'm assuming that's a 9 a.m. hearing date. Do we set times?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Yep. It's in the findings.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Discussion? Are we ready to vote? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carried. That hearing is set for November 19th, 2024 at 9 o'clock. That concludes our drainage agenda. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Agenda item number 5, tab number 8 is planning and zoning.
Morning, John.
Good morning, John.
Morning, John.
Whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. John Considine, County Zoning Administrator. Our first item this morning is PC 37-24. It's a request for review and approval from David and Amy Orcutt of the final plat of Fair Acres, a 2-lot subdivision. The property is currently Lot 3 of Auditor's Plat number 87, located in the northeast quarter of Section 19 and the northwest quarter of Section 20 in Jamestown Township. The property is zoned rural residence and is in the shoreland of Lake Washington, a recreational development lake, as classified by the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources. At the Planning Commission, staff presented the report. The applicants were not present and there was no public comment. Members of the Planning Commission had no questions, concerns, or comments. And following the discussion, the Planning Commission voted unanimously to forward a recommendation of approval to the County Board based on the findings and conditions recommended by staff. The board action for this item would be passage of a resolution based on the recommendation of the Planning Commission. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you for that. This is a public hearing. Public comments are expected to be civil and respectful. Please note this meeting is being recorded. There's a 5-minute time limit. County Administrator will give you a 1-minute warning and let you know when you've used the allotted time. In addition, the board may restrict or limit the time allotted to a person whose remarks are repetitive or not relevant to the matter under consideration by the board. So at this time, it would be appropriate for public comment on this. If you'd like to make a comment regarding PC 37-24, please come to the podium and state your name and address for the record. Is there anyone wishing to speak to PC 34-24? I'll ask, is there anyone wishing to speak? Please come to the podium. I'll ask for a third and a final time, anyone wishing to comment on PC 37-24. Seeing and hearing none, we'll close the public comment portion and bring it back to the board. Any other comments or clarifying questions from the board?
No, sir.
At this time, it would be appropriate for a motion
I would
On the
move
recommendation.
I would move approval of the resolution recommended by the planning commission.
I'll second it.
Okay, discussion. We're ready to vote? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carried, the resolution is approved.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. One other item, just no action required on this, but a draft cannabis business ordinance was presented at the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission discussed the ordinances, inquired about the role of townships in the regulation of the cannabis industry. Staff addressed those questions by outlining that as the zoning authority in 21 townships, Blue Earth County has received resolutions from all 21 townships providing consent for the county to issue registrations for retail cannabis businesses. And we anticipate bringing forward that ordinance amendment for cannabis businesses and use and events in November.
Thank you, John. A lot of work went into that. I thought we had good discussion at planning and zoning, a lot of good questions.
Absolutely.
And seems like they were all pretty supportive of what we have bringing forward at this point, so
I think so.
thanks for all your work.
This doesn't include the small towns.
It does not. The small towns are their own zoning authority. According to statute, towns can provide consent for the county to issue the registrations of retail businesses, retail cannabis businesses. At the same time, they would still have their zoning authority. And so the draft resolution that we have right now is framed so that the county, if it so chose, could accept consent from those small towns, but the small town would retain their zoning authority. And so any standards related to cannabis would be enforced by them as the zoning authority, and we would process the paperwork associated with that registration.
Do you know by state law how many retail outlets we could have in Blue Earth County?
In Blue Earth County, based upon the statute, it specifies a minimum or maximum, depending on how you frame it, of 1 per 12,500. And so in Blue Earth County, the draft ordinance is outlining that standard, and it would be 6 retail businesses throughout the county.
And that's how much we have control. Because each small town could have its own, and the city of Mankato has the same 1 per 12,500, which means that they could probably have 4.
So according to our review of statute, we've framed the county ordinance to say the 6 retail businesses within the county boundaries. So if the city of Mankato were to have 6, then the county would not be under an obligation to issue any additional registrations. And so any city can go to whatever number they so chose. But with the county adopting that standard of 1 per 12,500, no other city in Blue Earth County is obligated to issue a registration. So they can make their own determination of what ones they want to have.
understand.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. That clarifies it a lot for me.
So they may, but it's not a must.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks for that information. That
You
was
bet.
good stuff.
We'll go to item number 6 on our agenda, tab number 9, the University of Minnesota Extension Contract. Christie, please join us if you would.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, how are you all?
Good.
Good.
Please identify yourself for the
Yes. I am Christy Calavig. I'm the Regional Director for University of Minnesota Extension, serving in Blue Earth County. And I am here today kind of as a follow-up and asking for your action on our memorandum of agreement. This is a 3-year agreement between University of Minnesota and Blue Earth County that outlines the services that you wish to see Extension provide within Blue Earth County. The contract that I'm bringing forward to you today outlines a 1.0 full-time or FTE for youth development 4-H programming. So this would be an educator position that works with youth and volunteers across the county. Currently, we have, in the last program year, we served over 800 youth across Blue Earth County, and so this position would continue that work. The other position that is outlined in the agreement is a Master Gardener Coordinator. This position is a new position for you. It's a .25 FTE that would replace the previous A&R educator position that we've had in this county. The Master Gardener Coordinator position would provide support to the approximately 40 Master Gardener volunteers that you have, as well as the extensive programming that they do across the county in horticulture and natural resources. The contract also includes a what we are now referring to as a temp casual position. This is a summer position. Typically, or in past contracts, we've referred to it as an intern or a program coordinator. We've changed the language so that we are able to be a little bit more fluid in who we hire for that position, and so that I don't have to come back and ask for your time in the future. But that you will note that the memorandum of agreement also includes a SNAP-Ed Health and Wellness Coordinator. This is a grant-funded position that is not at any cost to your county. It is Rachel Jones is the person who is currently in this position. We included in the MOA just due to the fact that we do utilize county resources for that position. You know, she has office space upstairs and also, you know, postage, internet access, those types of things. So that's why that position is included within the agreement. The agreement
have a nicer finish in there. So those particular alternates are the 4 things that we contemplated. We'll be prepared to award those or recommend those for award at the next meeting. And for now, I'm going to turn it over to Charlie. We do have kind of 2 groups of bids. The first group that we're prepared to award today, and then the next group of bids, we still need some more time that we come back to you for the next board meeting.
Thanks, John. So on the first sheet or first page of our letter here, you'll see the 16 contracts that we're recommending for approval today for a total of $12,613,285. And so these are the contractors where we vetted out. They've got a complete scope of work based on what we defined on in our bidding documents. There is an asterisk next to work scope 26A, the electrical scope of work. Based on when we developed this letter, we hadn't completely vetted out their scope of work yet, but because of the lead times associated with their work and needing to get them on board, we did want to get them on that letter. Since then, we have completed their scope review, they are whole, so we can confidently recommend them for award today. That contingency has been kind of met. So those are the contractors that we're reviewing. Largely contractors that are going to be involved early on in the process or have those longer lead times involved in their work, or people that we need to start coordinating with early on here. And then the second page, we have the remaining scope of work that we have yet to complete final scope review on. And as John mentioned at the next meeting, we'll have that completed and be ready to award. But just wanted to give you an update on where those numbers have come in to date. We do have one final recommendation on that second page. We only received one bid for work scope 5A, which is our structural steel material, and the number was quite a bit higher than our budget. There was a few inconsistencies in that bid received as well, so we are recommending to reject that bid and rebid that scope of work. Do some deeper diving on what caused some of those inconsistencies and just try to understand a little bit better what led to that odd number.
Yep, and I should note that the alternates aren't ready to be formally approved today, but that budget figure that I shared with you earlier does include the apparent low bids for each alternate. So that savings does incorporate each of those 4 alternates, assuming that they would be approved. So with that, we're kind of requesting award of that first bunch of bids up on the top portion of that letter to be approved today.
And the alternates are part of that?
Those are not part of that.
So we'd have to make a motion to accept the alternates besides that,
Right, and we do that at the next meeting, correct?
the next meeting.
Yep.
Okay.
So today you're just looking for those 16, that 12,613,285,
That's
correct?
correct.
All right, Chair would entertain a motion.
I will move to approve.
Second.
Okay, discussion. We have a motion and a second discussion. Other clarifying questions?
A lot of familiar people on there, so that's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's Nice
Lot
to
of local
see
bidders.
local bidders.
All right, are we ready to vote? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carried. Those 16 bids for a total of $12,613,285 are approved. Thank you, gentlemen.
Mr. Chair, I might also ask that the board pass a motion to reject the one bid that was mentioned. I think we need to formally do that here at this time.
That was for the structural steel.
Yep, work scope 5A, structural steel
Okay.
material.
I'll move that.
Second.
We've got a motion and a second. Discussion? We're ready to vote? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carried. That bid is rejected. Thank you, Bob.
There you go. All right, awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we are to item number 8 on the agenda, tab 11, Finance. Lisa, please join us.
Good morning, Lisa.
Morning, Lisa.
Good morning. Morning. I have a couple items for the board today. The first one is authorizing the sale of bonds for 2 drainage projects. County Ditch 35 and 52, which we're doing some improvements on. The total amount of the bond would be $4,510,000. Since it's under 10 million, it will be bank qualified, which hopefully will give us a little bit better interest rate once you're bank qualified because you're under that 10 million. That they're predicting right now, they're estimating the interest rate at about, on the coupons, on the bonds, about 3.3%. But they will continually upgrade or relook at that as it gets closer. The actual sale is scheduled for Monday, November 18th, and then the county board will consider those at their Tuesday, November 19th meeting. So right now, we are just asking for the authorization for the sale of these bonds.
I will move that.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion.
We're financing that right now through our.
Yes, yes, they do
work
have
with.
negative balances. The projects are complete, and so our general fund has, or our capital fund has been like financing those, and so this will actually reimburse us
Yep.
for those costs.
And that's 4%, right?
Yes. We have been financing some bonds, but now these are bigger projects, so we're trying to bond for
Yeah,
them.
and I think I know the reason why we did that is so we can tie a couple of these together. You don't have to pay the fees
Correct.
2, 3,
Yeah.
4, and 5
Yeah,
times.
I mean, the cost of financing is
Expensive.
expensive, yes. That's what I was gonna say. So it's always nice to tie some
Yep.
projects together.
So thank you. That's all I had.
Okay, other discussion? We're ready to vote? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The motion carried. The resolution authorizing sale of bonds for drainage systems 35 and 52 is approved. Next item, please.
Next item is our statement of work for 2024 auditing services with Clifton Larson Allen. We've been extremely happy with this auditing firm. It has been around 5 years. It's about a 6% increase in last year, which we think is reasonable. We are still not at the level of what we were paying when we had the state auditors like 5 years ago. We're still paying less.
Really?
Yes.
That's awesome.
So everything's going very well, but we are asking for your approval on this contract.
I'll move approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Discussion. Are we ready to vote? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The motion carried. That is awarded.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thanks, Lisa.
Item number 9 on our agenda, tab number 13, is Sheriff's Office. Morning, Sheriff.
Morning, Sheriff.
Morning, Sheriff.
Morning. I've got 2 items here. The first one is we sent out an RFP advertisement for bids on the jail food services contract. I think it's been 12 years since that's been done. We received 5 bids, 4 were qualifying. One of them did not include the bond or the guarantee check. So the lowest bid was Summit Correctional Services, who we currently have, at $2.76 per meal. They also offered within the bid a plan with larger portions and higher calorie count for $3.12 per meal, which is 1 penny more than we're paying right now for the lower calorie count for this year. So I'm asking for board approval to enter the contract process with Summit Correctional Services for the food contract.
For the 312.
Yes, $3.12.
12.
And putting this RFP together was a lot of work. Darren Ewert spent a lot of time on it. Now that it's done, if we're not happy with Summit, we've already told them, next year we'll do it again. So they're, hopefully everything starts improving down there.
Well, I would move to approve with the $3.12 per meal.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Discussion. Are we ready to vote? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carried. The jail food service bid is awarded. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The second is the Blue Earth Nicollet and Le County Mutual Aid Agreement was up for renewal at the end of this year. This agreement is made pursuant to Minnesota Statutes 471.59, which authorizes the joint cooperative exercise of powers between the parties, which would be the 3 counties and fire departments, law enforcement. The agreement was updated. It was reviewed by all 3 county attorneys and approved, and it will be in effect until January 1st of 2030.
I'll move approval.
I'll second that.
Here we have a motion and a second. Discussion. Are we ready to vote? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carried. The Tri-County Mutual Aid Agreement is approved.
All right. Thanks, Sheriff.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Item number 10 on our agenda, tab number 15, is the Justice Center Fencing Bid Award. Tim, please join us.
Good morning.
Morning, Tim.
Morning, Tim.
Thank you for having me. What we got on the agenda for today is a new fencing around the Justice Center, as well as 2 new gates. We kind of worked with the Sheriff's Department on how the fencing would be situated out there, as well as adding 2 new gates at the ring road on both sides, so people can't drive around the back side as they can right now. The gates would be closer to the front of the building, I guess, on the ring road there. We went out for bids on September 26th, or open bids on September 26th. We received 3 bids, low bid being Erickson Infrastructure. at $376, but they did not acknowledge both the addendums that were there, and with multiple calls to them, I believe ISG made 4 to 5 calls into them, and they will not return any phone calls back to ISG. So my recommendation would be to accept the next lowest bid from Webb Construction, which their bid came in at $566,500. And they're kind of a local firm here, so we've worked with them in the past, and actually they're doing some work for us out in the parking lot currently. It's my recommendation to accept the bid from Webb Construction.
I'll move approval.
I would second that.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second discussion, and we can reject and award in the same motion, correct?
Yeah, I believe Erickson Infrastructure did not meet the bidding requirements. I don't know, Pat, if you have any disagreement with that, but since they weren't a responsible bidder, we don't necessarily have to reject them.
Okay. Okay. Other discussion? Thank you, Bob. Are we ready to vote? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carried, that bid is awarded.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 11, tab number 16 is Human Services.
Good morning, Phil.
Good morning, Phil.
Morning, everyone. Good to see you. Well, there are months that are lighter. This is one of those. We'll see what next month looks like.
End of the year is coming
is
up.
kind of nuts. Yeah. So, a couple of items. First of those, Mr. Chair, is an action item for the board to consider for her Children and Family Services, our Children's Mental Health Screening Grant, and that crosses over both our department and to corrections. And it's to serve juveniles who need help getting on track with mental health issues. Mostly, this is about getting them a diagnostic assessment to see at what level of services, they need. But there are some other additional supports that can be accessed through the grant, either by our staff in child protection or in community corrections. There was an increase in this grant amount by $5,083, bringing the total to the 2025 grant at $101,952. And the term then January 1st of 25 through December 31st of 25. And that is my action item for today, Mr. Chair.
I'll move approval. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Discussion? Are we ready to vote? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carried, the grant is approved. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Some discussion and informational items. 2 different areas, the first of those being disability services, and you'll see in the slide kind of a stepwise increase in caseload over the years represented by the graph, and those are for our waivered services, and I'll go through what those are. In the next slide below it, it says developmental disability waiver, community alternative care, community access for disability inclusion, and brain injury waiver. I don't know if I would get any of those right because we call them CAC, CADI, and BI. And so a lot of times you're like, I don't know what it stands for, but that's what it stands for. And you'll see the breakout of those types of service in each of those 3 different categories. The listing to the right is the non-waivered services, so in addition to waivers, and I say this almost every time, is the waivers, why they're called waivers, is we're waiving what used to be nursing home level care. So people used to go to the nursing home, that was kind of our one and only option. We're waiving that, trying to keep them in the community. That's why they're called waivers. And so that at least helped me when I was new to this understand that. There are non-waivered services, so I would just call these special services. I'm not going to go through all those, but if you have any questions about those, they're relatively small. You'll see on that bottom graph the non-waivered services. We had 69 total in all of those 7 categories for 2023. And then you do see the individual
caseload size for a case manager, which is 72 at the time that we pulled this data. It changes all the time. And a few narrative points on that, to just talk about caseload sizes. Obviously, our mission is to enable them to remain in the community. I said that just a moment ago. And then this turnover of cases is also very significant, is each worker tends to turn over 16 to 17 cases per year. And so that churn is in addition to their caseload. It still will average out at that net number. But whenever you have a new case, there's just an awful lot of work, as you can imagine, to do. And as people exit, too, for a lot of different reasons, that's another transitional care type of issue. So that's just another piece of their work that we wanted the board to be aware of. Increase in cases with high complex needs. As long as I've been here, we've talked about this, but I really do believe, would vouch for this, that there is an increase in acuity in who we serve. There's just a lot more complexity as time goes on, and it does feel like it's year over year, sometimes more incremental, and sometimes we have just a whole slew of cases that are very hard to serve because of their complexity. And then there was a decrease in that number, I said, the 69 of non-waivered cases, which means that people are needing to go to the more intensive services, which are the waivered cases. So there's some flow back and forth between that based on acuity as well. Mr. Chair, I'll maybe just stop, see if you have any questions.
Questions? Okay, thank you.
The other item I had for the board's review today is just the statewide health improvement partnership, of course, another acronym for us in public health, SHIP. And so you probably have heard of SHIP, and that's what it stands for. SHIP work is really community driven, and it's evidence-based interventions in the community. So we try to get a lot of buy-in, and we try to build a lot of partnerships. The goal is to make lasting policy, improve systems, efficiency, and also be sensitive to environmental changes. The 5-year grant cycle will end this next year in October, and so we'll begin planning for that as soon as possible. The strategies, the 4 areas that are focused on is nutritional issues, healthy eating, moving our bodies, and other related health activities, general well-being, and tobacco-free communities. The settings are in the community, in the workplace, in healthcare settings, and with schools and child care facilities. And then some of you might know in your districts, the final slide is just some of the projects that have been funded. These get applied for by the entity that is interested in using SHIP funds to build programming. It goes to the state for approval, and then we have our own process as well. So there's a lot of due diligence that I think goes into this. You'll see some of these projects, the adaptive bike fleet, the lactation rooms, which are becoming much more common, the VINE Faith in Action Diabetes Prevention Program. We have garden infrastructure and fruit trees that we funded, help fund, tobacco-free campus at MSU, and sidewalk assessment in Lake Crystal. So those are some of those examples. That's really what I had for you today.
All right, thank you. Appreciate that.
You bet.
Item number 12 on our...
Good to see you.
Yes, thank you.
Take care.
Item number 12 on our agenda is administration. Mr. Meyer, please.
Mr. Chair and Commissioners, the first item is the county board minutes for October 8th.
I'll move approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Discussion? Are we ready to vote? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carried. The October 8th, 2024 minutes are approved.
Next are the bills for the 2 weeks indicated.
I move to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion? Are we ready to vote? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carried. The bills are approved.
Mr. Chair and Commissioners, item number 19 in your packet is the Human Resources Department agenda. I have one action item for the board's consideration today, and that is the reappointment of Ryan Short as the Blue Earth County assessor for a 4-year period effective January 1st of 2025 through the end of 2028. There is a resolution and memo attached in the packet that describes kind of the process that the Department of Revenue requires the county to go through in terms of this reappointment process. And so I won't review all that information, but just know that this is a 4-year appointment of our current county assessor.
I will move the reappointment.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Discussion?
Ryan does a good job for us.
He does.
Are we ready to vote? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The motion carried, the resolution is approved.
Under informational items then, we did have a resignation of an assistant county attorney, and so we've initiated recruitment to refill that position. We also did fill a couple of correctional officers in our jail, both are part-time positions. And we had a promotion of a care coordinator in our public health area to a program coordinator over our waiver and family programs. We also had a resignation of a property and environmental resources specialist, and so we've initiated recruitment to refill that position. I'd be happy to answer any questions the board might have on any of those informational items.
Okay, seeing none, go ahead.
Item number 20 in your packet then is an exempt gambling permit application. This is for the Ducks Unlimited Lost Marsh chapter, which would like to hold an event out at Indian Island Winery in November. And so this application has been reviewed and is recommended for approval.
Move to approve.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second. Discussion. We're ready to vote? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The motion carried. The gambling permit is approved.
Under the joint powers agreement, any other change orders will now need to come forward to the various partner organizations. Seasons Arena. So it's a little bit of kind of minor stuff in the grand scheme of things, but here we have 2 change orders. One is Metcon under Trade Package 1A. This change order is for a deduction of $4,100. Due to some decisions not to paint a ceiling in one of the maintenance rooms. And then we also had a change order for Laketown Electric under Trade Package 26A. This is an increase of $355. So combined, those 2 change orders decrease the overall project cost by $3,745. So recommending approval here so that those changes can be implemented.